You were obviously very high-powered, and you brought a lot of high-profile cases. A lot of those high-profile cases, I mean, the one put you on the cover of Time magazine was an insider trading case. What was your theory of prosecuting insider trading? How much evidence did you feel that you required in order to prosecute an insider trading case? And also, generally, people have tremendous suspicion of Wall Street. How prominent is insider trading? I mean, if you watch Billions, it's that they're going poisoning chickens. But
right. So today, I don't keep so many tabs. I think it's gone down, at least a certain kind of insider trading. So there are a lot of people who suggest that insider trading is a victimless crime. I don't think that's true. I think you can have the victimization of companies whose private information is being sold on the on essentially a black market. Material non-public information is being given to other folks, which undermines the integrity of their numbers. There are also, by the way, depending on the nature of the trade, there are people on the other side of the trade. You're making the trade based on inside information that the merger is going to happen or the merger is not going to happen, and there's someone on the other side of that who's the sucker in that. And then overall, I think it diminishes people's respect, for the market. Look, one thing that Donald Trump has said that is correct, a couple of things he said correct that bears on this. There is a swamp. I just don't think he's draining it. And a lot of the system, in a lot of ways, is rigged. And a little bit, I was surprised at how much attention was brought to bear on the insider trading cases. I've always said, they're not the most important cases we did. Nobody died, but they were important. And I think part of the reason people paid a lot of attention to them is people get very upset, and it resonates with them when they see people of privilege and wealth, which a lot of these people were, if not all of these people. I mean, there was a billionaire named Roger Rutten, had $1 billion. Do you have $1 billion?
I do not,
close.
Unfortunately. Not yet.
With this empire, you don't...
One day. I mean, if you can advise me behind the scenes on how to conduct this insider trading of which you speak, then one day. But
you can just claim you have billions. That works too, and then just say your tax returns are under audit. So I provide that
Perfect,
template.
so I'm a billionaire.
I provide that template. But there's a person with $1 billion, and he's still cheating to make a few extra $1 million. And that makes people really angry. With respect to what kinds of proof you need, to the extent people have said that it's sort of murky and the rules are unclear, in the criminal system, I think it's very important to make sure that your cases are clear. You have clear proof of intent. You have clear proof of the trades that you're saying were illicitly done, and that you have essentially smoking gun proof of those things. And there are a lot of insider trading cases that couldn't be brought. I mean, in the build-up to some of these cases we were bringing, because word got out that things were going on for reasons that are not good. Without reading the complaints, without reading the indictment, some people thought, well, you're sort of overreaching. Preet Bharara's U.S. Attorney's Office is going too far, and they're going after the gray area. I don't think if you look at any of the cases we brought, and we brought scores and scores of cases, it was often really clear common sense evidence, right? Because remember, and this is sort of parallel to some of the things we've been talking about with the Mueller investigation and arguments made on behalf of the president. You see a dead body in the street, bullet in the heart, and if you can quickly rule out that the person didn't, die by suicide, then it's almost certainly a homicide, unless it's self-defense. But you pretty much ruled everything out. So you know a crime has been committed, because you're not supposed to shoot people on the street. But lots and lots of criminal activity consists of acts that are by themselves completely lawful. Not only completely lawful, but part of the obligation of the actor. So for example, it is part of the obligation of a sitting legislator to vote. It is part of the business plan, and perfectly legitimate capitalist business plan for a hedge fund to trade, to buy a stock, to sell a stock, to go long, to go short. All those things are legitimate. The thing that makes those cases hard to prove without some smoking gun proof of intent, what's in the head, is that they can say, look, we had this research. There were good faith reasons why we bought this stock. So it's actually an incredibly hard case to make unless you sometimes have an insider. I'll give you an example of a case. And people would say, how do you know, a version of the question you just asked me, how do you know when you have enough to bring a case? And one I talk about in the book, we had a guy who, in the wake of this big Wall Street Journal article that broke on a Friday evening, where the reporter in that story said that at our office, the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI together were bringing massive insider trading cases in the future. A guy who had been engaging in insider trading Don Langell, decided that he was going to take the flash drive on which he had inside information and smash it to pieces and get rid of it. We had no idea that that happened, and would never had any idea that that happened, except for the fact that later, as I describe in the book, there was another guy who was his best man who decided to flip when approached by an FBI agent who was leading these investigations. And when that guy flipped, months later, he went to the apartment of the person who had destroyed the evidence wearing a wire. And the other person trusted him, shouldn't have, and basically got him to confess that on the night the Wall Street Journal article came out, he took his flash drive, He bashed it to pieces with pliers. He walked out of his apartment at, I think, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning in New York City, found multiple garbage trucks who were in the streets, and deposited the remains of various bits of the flash drive in those garbage trucks. We indicted that guy, and we were able to secure a guilty plea from him because of this other. So that's the kind of evidence, not always so clear. In the absence of having a wiretap, in the absence of having something more direct, you need stuff like that. And we also, by the way, wasn't my idea. People before my time pioneered the idea of doing wiretap, using the tool of the wiretap to do insider trading investigations as well. That gives you the kind of evidence you need too.
Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that The Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay up to date on all of our content.